Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty, and today I have for you the SCT Sampler Kit unboxing, and I always have a project with my unboxing, so stick around for that. So here is what the sampler kits look like when they come in the mail, and like the name implies, they are a sample of supplies from current manufacturers and current lines. And when you open it up, you get a little Ziploc bag full of 6x6 pattern papers from 2 different collections, as well as some embellishments and 1 reusable item. There's always a theme word, and the SCT company provides an embellishment to go along with that theme word. And this time we have a blue acrylic piece. In the past they've been white, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the blue. I'll have to think on that one a bit. So let's go ahead and take everything out of this pack. Now, sometimes I have to go online and kind of do a little research to see which supplies are from which collections, because they are just kind of all put into the pack together. Now the papers are usually, the stack of papers from one manufacturer is all in order. So let's start with this reusable item. Often there's some kind of stamp set, so this time we actually got kind of 2 reusable items. We got a little storage pouch from scrapbook.com, and we'll get to that stamp set in a minute. This paper collection is the, let's see, I believe it's called Happy Bloom from Pink Fresh. And I like both of the manufacturers. The other manufacturer is the Stamp Market, but we'll get to that. So I really like Pink Fresh as a company. I tend to like their color palettes and their patterns, and so I'm very happy to see some of their newest stuff in this pack. And as you can see, I'm just kind of going through the collection of pattern papers, and the Pink Fresh paper is nice and thick, and I really appreciate that about their products. And I like that they have purple a lot of the times in their collections. That's not a common color for other manufacturers to use. And my daughter's favorite color is kind of a lavender color, so I always use up that Pink Fresh purple. And in fact, in the project today, I will get that to use. Now, these little chipboard embellishments, I'm not sure where those were from, as well as these tags and those enamel dots. Those didn't seem to match up with anything I was finding online for the Pink Fresh collection. So those may have been little extras the SCT threw into our kit. Now, they will have an online list of supplies that is often more updated than what's on the card that's in the pack. All right, and as I was mentioning that, I did move on to this second manufacturer, and this is from the Stamp Market, and I like this company. I've appreciated they're newer to the pattern paper market, but I've appreciated their last couple of collections, and when I was going online, I didn't see a particular collection that these pattern papers went with, so I'm not quite sure on that. And the stamp I know is an exclusive for our kits, so that's not going to be available anywhere else. And I should mention that if you are thinking about subscribing to these kits, they cost as low as $14 a month. It depends on the subscription plan you sign up for. And like I said, you get a sampling of supplies. The pattern papers are always 6x6 sheets cut down from 12x12s. And I almost forgot to mention that you can no longer get these kits. Once they've shipped, they're out. They're no longer available. So when you sign up for a subscription, you will be signing up for a future kit. I hope all that information is helpful for you, so let's go ahead and move on to a project. I did think a lot about creating a card this month, but that purple was speaking to me, and so I wanted to do a scrapbook layout about my daughter. Now, the daughter in this picture is my youngest and not my middle kid, who this layout is actually about, but I didn't have a picture of her from that day, so instead I pulled out the pictures I did have. And I am creating a color palette here, which is going to include yellow, blue, purple, and green. And the yellow, green, and blue are based on my photo colors, and the purple is there because the daughter who this layout is about is a purple fan. So I am going to build up a central location on my layout to be the foundation of this project. And I'm going to use that yellow kind of checkered print because it reminds me of, like a picnic blanket kind of. And since this layout is about Thanksgiving and food, I thought that yellow check worked well. And then I'm going to create this visual triangle with lots of these other pattern papers, and that's going to be where all my color comes from. And I will cut apart pieces when I need to, just to get the sections of these circle punches that I want. And I have 2 different sizes of circle punches, so I'm using a slightly smaller one and a slightly larger one for this. Now that's going to create my visual triangle, and now I don't have a lot of embellishments in this kit from that color palette, so I'm going to create my own. And I'm going to do that with the stamp as well as fussy cutting some of those pattern papers. So there you can see I already fussy cut out some flowers from the stamp market paper, and those flowers had centers to them that matched up with my color scheme quite well. So I'm going to go ahead and use the stamp to create some more flowers. And I was just doing some testing here on that paper to see what I wanted to do exactly. And I'm also creating, in the little stamp set, you got a stem to go with the flowers. So I'm going to create 3 of these stamped and fussy cut flowers. And I'm going to add a little bit of white stamping to the center of these flowers to give them just a little more pop on the page. Now here's where my camera died and I missed this part. I just pulled out an alphabet die set from Lawn Fawn, and I'll leave links to that in the show notes. I die cut my title out of the same pattern papers, and then I just used some scratch paper to die cut 2 more layers, and I stacked up my letters to create a thickness to them, and that's where my title, Vegan Feast, came from. Now, because all of the letters and all of my little circles are very similar in color tone, I wanted to add some detail, pen work to all of these to kind of help everything pop more, because it was all starting to look very flat and bland. So this is something I do often. Just a little bit of pen work around things can really do a lot for helping things pop off the page a little bit more. And then I pull out one more stamp from that stamp set that says "Thank you so much." I wanted to somehow alter that stamp to make it say thanks or Thanksgiving, and I just couldn't get there. So I just left it as "Thank you very much." And even though it is a sentiment meant for a greeting card, it works on my scrapbook layout. Now I'm going to find just a few bits of embellishment to add to each of my circle clusters to complete my visual triangle. And I'm trying to be sure to add 1 word and 1 icon, as well as each cluster has a flat element and a puffy element, and I like to make sure I've kind of mixed and matched and got those different elements going on when I'm creating my embellishment clusters. And I do fuss around a little bit with all of this, and in the end I find the right placement for everything. And then that is pretty much going to call this layout done. I did add a tiny bit more journaling there, and that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at what the SCT Sampler Kits have to offer, as well as how to take 6x6 pattern papers and put them to use in scrapbook pages. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them for me below, because I will get back to you. And on Friday, I will be back with my free Cut File Friday project, which is offering you SVG cut files to use with your digital die cutting machines. So come back and join me then.